Welcome back to Finance Buzz Friday. We're diving into something pretty big today, something with the potential to really shake things up in UK financial services.
Yeah, it's a big one.
DeepSeek R1, a new AI model coming out of China.
It's causing a lot of buzz, and for good reason.
So for our listeners who might not be familiar,
Sure.
can you tell us a bit more about DeepSeek R1?
Yeah, so DeepSeek R1 is what we call open source,
Okay.
which means the core code is basically freely available
Right.
for anyone to use, modify, distribute. It's a big change from how software has traditionally been developed.
Yeah, you think of companies like Microsoft or Apple.
Exactly.
They keep their code very closely guarded.
Right.
This is quite different.
Very different. Yeah, and I think a lot of people, when they hear open source, they think of things like Linux or Firefox,
Right.
software that anyone can contribute to. But this is different. We're talking about really sophisticated AI, the kind of technology that's usually been developed by big tech companies with billions to spend.
It was developed for a fraction of the cost
A fraction.
of what companies like Meta or OpenAI spend.
Yeah, we're talking about $5.6 million
Wow.
versus billions.
That's incredible.
And yet, it can perform many of the same tasks. This has sent shockwaves through global financial markets.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
And we saw that reflected in the markets, right?
yeah.
With the arrival of DeepSeek R1.
Oh, yeah.
NVIDIA, for example.
Big player.
Huge player. Lost almost $600 billion from
Yeah.
its market cap.
It's a lot of money.
And the NASDAQ Composite had its worst day since 2022,
Yeah.
dropping by 3.6%.
Investors are definitely taking notice.
Absolutely. So how could DeepSeek's open source nature affect innovation, particularly here in the UK?
Well, imagine businesses of all sizes being able to integrate this powerful AI technology into what they do every day.
Right.
Think about streamlining customer service with AI-powered chatbots, or developing really complex algorithms for things like data analysis and risk assessment, which brings us to probably the most talked about aspect of DeepSeek.
The price.
The pricing, yeah. They're offering their models at up to 40 times cheaper than competitors like OpenAI.
Wow.
It's a potential game changer for UK businesses
Yeah.
looking to adopt AI without breaking the bank.
Right. But with a Chinese company offering such a cost advantage, are there concerns about data privacy?
It's a crucial point. DeepSeek does collect user data.
Okay.
Things like IP addresses, device details, even keystroke patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And they analyze all this to understand user behavior and make the model better.
And where is this data stored?
On servers in China.
Okay, so that's raising some eyebrows.
Understandably.
Yeah.
Especially with all the focus on data security these days.
And to add to that, haven't some security researchers found vulnerabilities in the model?
Yeah, there have been some reports suggesting that it could be exploited to create malware or get around security filters.
And there have even been investigations launched by authorities in Italy, right?
Yes, and the U.S. Navy has actually banned its use because of these security risks.
So this open source nature of DeepSeek R1 presents both a challenge and an opportunity then.
Exactly. On the one hand, companies using DeepSeek have to really take responsibility for its security and make sure it's compliant.
Right.
They can't just rely on the provider to handle everything.
So it becomes a balancing act.
Yeah.
Weighing those potential benefits like cost savings,
Right.
increased efficiency, access to this cutting-edge technology against those potential risks.
Exactly. And for UK financial institutions, there's the added layer of navigating data privacy regulations and public perception.
It's like a complex equation.
Very complex with no easy answers.
But what's clear is that DeepSeek R1 has really shaken things up.
Absolutely.
It's forcing us to really rethink how we view AI data security and the future of financial services.
It's a whole new ballgame. Yeah, it really feels like a turning point for UK financial institutions. I mean, the big question is, do you embrace this new tech?
Or stick with what we know, right?
Yeah.
The established players, maybe more expensive.
Yeah, but seemingly safer.
Right. So how are those big U.S. tech companies responding to this? The ones who've been leading the AI game for so long.
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are they worried about a price war, or do they think their reputation, for reliability and data security will win out?
I mean, trust is everything in finance, isn't it?
It is, but it's too early to say for sure what their strategy will be. Some experts think this could trigger a race to the bottom on price.
Which I guess would be good for businesses and consumers in the end.
In theory, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But others think the big companies will focus on what makes them different. Their commitment to data privacy, strong security, and ethical AI development.
Okay, so let's talk about how DeepSeek R1 could actually be used by businesses.
Sure.
What would that look like day to day?
I think we could see a lot of different applications. automating routine tasks like data entry compliance reporting.
Stuff that takes up a lot of time.
Exactly. And then think about enhancing customer service.
Okay.
Personalized financial advice, AI-powered chatbots. Imagine getting instant financial guidance through an app that understands your specific needs and goals.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
But are there any risks to think about when it comes to using AI in finance? I mean, it's a pretty sensitive area.
Of course. There are always risks with powerful technology, like algorithmic bias, for instance, where the AI system makes decisions that are unfair to certain groups.
Right.
That's a big one. And then there's always the risk of data breaches, especially if companies don't take the right steps to protect their systems.
So it's not just about adopting the tech, it's about using it responsibly.
Exactly. It's about thinking through the ethical implications, having clear rules for its use, and making sure humans are still involved in the process.
What about jobs? A lot of people are worried AI will replace human jobs.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. And some tasks will probably become automated, but AI will also create new opportunities and roles.
So maybe we see a shift in the skills that are in demand.
That's right. More focus on data science, AI development, cybersecurity.
So it's about adapting and learning new skills.
Exactly. Preparing for an AI-powered world. But going back to data privacy.
Yeah, we talked about the concerns with DeepSeek's data collection.
Right.
Is there any way to lessen those risks?
Well, remember, open source software is flexible. You can customize it. Companies in the UK who are worried about sending data to China could choose to host DeepSeek R1 locally on their own servers.
So they have more control over their data.
Exactly. And that could address some of the privacy concerns. That's the beauty of it. They decide how much control they want over their data and how to balance innovation with security.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution?
Nope. Not at all. It's about finding the right approach for each organization, their customers, and the regulations they have to follow.
But UK financial institutions can't wait forever to make a decision.
No, they can't. DeepSeek R1 has really lit a fire under everyone. Companies have to figure out how they'll respond to this new wave of AI.
And fast. It feels like we're at a fork in the road.
Yeah.
Down one path, you've got the way things have always been done, working with the big players, accepting higher costs, and maybe feeling like you're getting more security that way.
Right.
And then there's this new path with DeepSeek, where it's cheaper and there's so much potential for innovation, but you also have to figure out those potential risks and challenges.
And it's not even just about the technology itself. It's about the whole mindset shift that DeepSeek R1 represents. It's like a challenge to the way things have always been done, a call to action for UK financial institutions to be more agile, more adaptable, more willing to try new things.
So for the people listening, the financial leaders who are trying to understand all of this, what advice would you give them? Where do they even start?
I'd say start with asking the right questions. What does your organization actually need AI to do? What are your goals? And how much risk are you comfortable with? How important is data privacy to your business, to your customers? Once you have a handle on your own priorities, then you can start looking at what's out there.
And it sounds like one of the biggest decisions they'll have to make is whether to go with the open source model like DeepSeek and host it themselves, or go with a more traditional provider.
Absolutely. That's a big one. It affects everything: data security costs, how much control you actually have over the technology. It's not something to jump into without thinking it through.
But even beyond all the practical stuff, it feels like there's a bigger question here. What do we want the role of AI to be in the future of finance? Is it just a tool to make things more efficient, automate things, or is it something that can really change the game?
That's the conversation we need to be having. How do we make sure AI is used ethically in finance? How do we balance all this amazing potential with protecting consumers? And how do we get the workforce ready for all these changes that are happening?
It's a wake-up call. It reminds us that the future of finance is being shaped right now.
And we all have a part to play in that. Financial executives, tech people, even just everyday consumers using financial services. The decisions we make today are going to have a huge impact down the line.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into DeepSeek R1 and what it could mean for UK financial services, we're left with more questions than answers. We have to be informed, we have to be involved, and we need to be ready to rethink everything we thought we knew about the future of finance.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for joining us today on Finance Buzz Friday. We hope this deep dive gave you a better sense of what's happening in the financial world and all the important decisions that are ahead.